Talk about some guys. Those guys. Britt, which of those three is most likely to re-sign with the Mets?
I think it's Pete Alonso, guys. I mean, he has openly talked about his desire to remain a Met. Obviously, been a Met for much longer than either one of those guys. And I think when you look at the playoffs he had, the nostalgia factor, thanathings like that, keeping him as a Met, I think, is probably the most realistic possibility for the Mets out of that trio. Though I think if we're talking straight needs, Sean Manaea remains to be the most important guy. I just think once you hit the open market and look at the season that Sean Manaea has had, it is going to be tough sledding to land a pitcher like Sean Manaea. There's going to be a lot more competition, I think, than there is going to be for the Mets in terms of bringing back a Pete Alonso.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. Oh, no. I was like, stop talking. I was going to make one of the points. No, I agree completely. I think the Mets got what they wanted and needed out of Luis Severino and Sean Manaea, and they probably feel like we got really productive seasons on a bargain, and they are not going to necessarily want to overpay. They don't want to necessarily pay Severino or Manaea for what they just did for the Mets for cheap. They are more likely to maybe pay a little more for the nostalgia, the sentimental value of Pete Alonso. It's also just a numbers game. There's a lot of pitchers available in that same sort of bucket. Again, I agree with Britt. I would love to see them bring back Manaea. Sort of those three, who do I think is going to be maybe the most impactful next year is Sean Manaea. But I just think, right, once he gets to the open market and the bidding opens up, he's going to want to cash in on that really good year he just had, and the Mets maybe don't want to overpay for him in the same way that they might be willing to for Pete Alonso, because there's more similar pitching available. They're going to want to try to do what they just did with Luis Severino and Sean Manaea and not overpay for quality pitching.
Will, what do you think the market's going to be like for Severino?
Yeah, I'm with you, Hannah, with that idea of David Stearns wanting to look for value there. But in terms of Severino, everybody needs pitching, right? That's going to be the case. So I don't see him really having any trouble finding a multi-year deal. I could see maybe, if you want a straight projection here, like 3 years, $50 million even. And that's with that, that comp pick attached to him for the qualifying offer. I don't really see that suppressing his market that much, because he demonstrated that he could stay healthy, and he became a little bit of a different pitcher too with that two-seam fastball. So there was a lot to like with Luis Severino last year, and I think teams are starved for pitching, so he's going to get multi-year deals. And with Severino, I'll say that he loves New York. New York is all he has ever known in his career. So I think that at the end of the day, he'd love to come back, but I don't know, like we were talking about with Hannah here, I don't know if the Mets have that desire to go like 2, 3, 4 years with the guy.
Mets are going to build out their whole rotation based on value again, like they did a year ago, you would expect? I'm not saying every guy for a year or so, but no big-ticket free agent pitchers in your estimation?
If I'm making a guess, I would probably lean toward that a little bit more. But that's also to say, like, you could still shop in that 3-year range, right? Where you have guys like a Kikuchi or Sean Manaea even you could bring back. So I don't know if I'd place my money necessarily on them signing like Corbin Burns to a 7-year deal, but I could certainly see them shopping that 3-4 year range, and then also adding guys like they did last year on those high value, low risk 1-year type deals.
Which I love. To me, it's the way the game has gone now. You can't invest big money in a pitcher because they always get hurt or peter out.